No. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Happy Thursday. Happy 1st of February. I hope you're all doing really good. I hope you. Oh, I hope February is good for you. An extra, especially considering we get a whole extra day of February. Considering, oh my God, it's very good because Replicant just raided in. Hello, Replicant. How are you doing? What were you up to? Ah, some more Yakuza 8. I hope you had a good time with that. Oh, and thank you so much for the resub too. My goodness, you are too generous. I hope you had a great time with Infinite Wealth. And may Infinite Wealth be your way. Uh, if you are not following Replicant, please make sure that you do. We unlocked the Pokemon in the game. Nice. He's been playing a lot of Yakuza recently, or I guess I should. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the new English title. um, but Like a Dragon 8: Infinite Wealth. Um, uh, and also like talking about like talks about like translation changes and whatnot. It's very neat, very good times. Unlock the Pokemon minigame. I What do you do in the Pokemon minigame? Do you make tiny women bugs battle each other, or is that specifically only a Kiwami 1 thing? But you're just in time to watch us start the beginner's guide. You make people fight each other. My god. That sounds amazing. Well, I'll definitely have to try and tune in for the next one and see what that's all about. Um, Definitely, if you're interested in watching the Yakuza series, like, feel free to tune into Replicant streams. Like I said earlier on Twitter this week, I don't know that I'll be streaming a lot more of the Yakuza games on stream. I just find that they're very long, and don't fit super well into the way that I like to do streams. So, if you are wanting to see someone play through it, Replicant is a very good choice. But I don't know. We might play like a couple of them on stream. Like, I don't know, maybe like the short, like the side series, Lost Judgment or something. It's just harder to kind of jump into a series, especially when I've already played like a bunch of them. The only good jumping on point that I could have thought was 7, but then I'm like, I don't really know that I want to play 7 on stream. Anyway, enough about Like a Dragon. Let's talk about what we're doing today. So we're playing The Beginner's Guide, which was a short game released by Davey Rendon of the Stanley Parable fame. And basically it is a uh, character named Davey taking us through some maps from a mysterious like his favorite mysterious map designer, Coda. And just basically kind of talking about what they mean, which is really interesting. I've been really nostalgic for like source map stuff. So and I wanted to revisit this game, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Uh, wonder if I can get a gamepad set up. That's fine. We don't. You can handle my clicking and clacking. It's not as bad as it used to be. Should be fine. All right, let us go ahead and get started. Pop on that desktop audio. Why you got the wait cursor going on there? What have I done? Who knows? Let's begin the game. Please make sure audio is on. I'm pretty sure it's on, thanks. Very simple controls. You do a lot of just walking around, essentially.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Suddenly hit with the paranoia that I did not turn off a stove burner. So give me 2 seconds to go check that. Good news. It's just my brain being incredibly dumb. Of course I turned off the stove burn. Of course I... Why the hell would I not turn off the stove burn? Sorry for the interruption. Let's get back to it.
It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Nice MP7 model. Oh, I'm out of ammo already. Damn. Maybe I should have just been shooting all the walls.
Security hull breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Yep. There it is. Universe is a big cube.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Thought we were supposed to be taking them as they were, Davey.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
I don't know about this. Eh.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Alright. Doing it again.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Yeah, pushing forward does nothing, in case you're wondering. Also side to side.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the feature keep changing? When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. How will she find the strength? I didn't read that other one, did I? But the future, if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Ah. Welcome to Silent Hill. You are now entering...
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Nonsense in every direction.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Getting real slow.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I don't think Davey is like the narrator, where he has, like, things if you don't do what he asks you to do. So, I think we'll just go ahead and hit enter.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Stand on an
Coda
X
would
staring
often
at a bear
tell
for
me
3
that he
hours.
didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Read an enemy's emails to learn how to beat them. Pfft. Who would ever want to do that? Ready, set, fish.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
But the door on the outside is closed now. Oh, if I close that... Oh. And if I open that... What if I do that? Yippee! I solved the puzzle.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Hello, ominous black dots.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room. How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Good question. Welcome to January. You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
The Great and Lovely Descent. It's a nice house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Ah, a bathroom. Okay. Almost got myself stuck in the bathroom. That would have been embarrassing. I don't know that this is up to code. Door stuck. Please. I beg you. Speaking of classic Valve, nostalgia. There's no fall damage. Oh, but there's oh, there's glass here. That's... I definitely missed that. Damn, you just got like a whole secret prison underneath your cafe? For me? Shouldn't have.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Hope that light fixture never needs to be changed out.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Motherfucker. Backseating me? Didn't even give me a chance to try and solve it.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Hi there. You there. Did you come up from up above?
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there's an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were the floating colored blocks. Floating colored blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with the 2 doors and switches? I'd prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. What? But you don't understand. We are trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. You think you want to get through, but trust me, you don't. Oh no, but I do! We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Too bad. I'm out. Hey guys. Hello there, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can still sit in the black space in the middle. Why would I sit in the black space? Oh, it's plenty peaceful. It may not seem that way at first, but you'll come to think so in time. Eventually.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level. It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
April of 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Wow! That means you too could boot up your copy of the Beginner's Guide and add notes yourself. Yippee! Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
Wow.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
The very first Strand-type game. My god, you're right. Coda invented Strand-type games in 2009. 2 years before Dragon's Dogma would also invent Strand-type games in 2011. And then, how many years was it? Like, 9 years before Death Stranding. Okay, the joke is over. How do you beat this game? No point to this. Whoa, holy shit. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Reasonable.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Everyone read this.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
I want to tell you a secret. Once upon a time, I did. To find fun, I'm king of the world. That's the comment of all time, right there. Oh, there's invisible walls. I was going to try and jump off and grab some. Running out of space. Soon we will suffocate. Cool cavern, bro. I just saw a flying penguin. Let me tell you, it was the most majestic thing I've ever seen. I don't feel like living because nothing will ever be as majestic as that. I never want to see again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. I'm crying right now and planning on ripping my eyes out. I must now go do that. Do not be afraid. Do care. Births? No. What the shit is this cavern? Boring. I can assure you, guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere, here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. Hey guys, just looking for someone to talk with. I refuse to believe. Butt-ass butt. I need to go to the frickin' bathroom. Recognize me, please. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. Liar ahead. Illusory wall ahead. A free t-shirt. Need other side. Door, why so? Door, how open? Open sesame. Makes game, includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Someday I will meet the person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. New room! Do you hear the chimes? They keep you going, don't they? It's not very crowded here. You can go in there, I think. Don't bother. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. Stop! Turn back! Proceeding further will only result in misery. Cabbage shapes our nation. That one was written by Nash. Hey, don't talk about me that way. Sorry, Nash. I think I'm this is not going anywhere. I need someone to talk to. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. Noted. I'm not safe. Painting. What does it mean? Whoever made this has issues. Who are all of you? Stop pretending you are other people. We will all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game! More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Scared of writing something, don't want to feel judged. Hello, Corey, good to see you. Almost there. I have seen everything. I have traveled the world. I have never told anyone. I wish there were notes in the real world. Yeah, I wish you could just write on things and leave them for people to find. Become one with the spiraling nonsense. downward.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Sort of. It is a narrative adventure game by Davey Reardon, about a map maker that he knew from 2008 to 2011 named Coda, and basically we're going through Coda's maps and Davey's telling us about Coda and about his interpretation of Coda's work. You close your eyes for it and wish for it really bad. Almost at the end. Does this puzzle have a solution? OMG, I've been here for literally an hour. What the fuck do I do? Help! Help! Doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Shit, how do you solve it? Developer answers, please.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment. A few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
One moment. I'm heading back to the start. Later, guys. Guys, it's not so bad in here. No solution. No answer, I think? There is no second switch. That's what you think. But look, the second switch was here the whole time. How do you leave notes? Are you there? Please, say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak! 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 May to June 2009.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Porn stars die too.
See, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Hey, where's all my furniture? What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Put a giant hole in the ground. They dig holes different from where you are? What about the wall along the room? 10 stoves lined up along the wall. I'd like a furniture nightmare. Not doing a very good job of listening to me, you know. Light up this room a bit. A skylight. Full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. I'm thinking 10 by 12. Recessed electric 6-inch. Soft LED ceiling lights there for less than trim. We'll put live Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's not a Tesla coil. Come on! Table, you need a table. Tables were invented in 1935. It's true, before then, no one had a table. And now... Look at all the
bit
tables
more to
I've
this
got.
one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Oh, very handy for me. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Now go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa. Move it over a little. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. See? Write that down, folks. And people say video games never teaches you anything useful. Return.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Trippy.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
A phone call from me? Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in
It's a
the
conversation.
reverse prison.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
That's where I am right now. Oh, I'm so glad to know that I get out eventually. What's it like to escape? Yeah, it's strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. Why? Was there anything about it that you felt good about? Being here sucks. True, maybe I only like things once I don't have them anymore. A guide for what, though? For beginners. I do that too, I guess. But is that just how I'm going to be here forever? I'd really like to change that. No, I think you'll find a way to change. Wait, if you're me, then what did you get another call from another version of yourself when you were trapped? Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? They just talked to me for a while. What? That freed you? How does that work? Just talk to me. Okay. I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I'll be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
August 2009. Imagine trusting
So
yourself.
what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
This game is less silly than I thought. Yeah, this is not a very silly game, despite being written by one of the creators of the Stanley Parable. This is a more serious narrative game.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Damn, someone should really fix this bed and this rug. And this bookshelf, my god. Betham looks alright, though. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might have to clean this entire all by myself. No, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
And lousy homes make home loners. Ha! Something tells me you're gonna be fun to do this job with. Well, this place isn't gonna clean itself, far as I know. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Well, we are not leaving until we have done the chores. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Nice. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? All the little details matter. That's not very straightened. How'd you end up doing this job? A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I never felt so good doing something for money in my whole life. I really did like cleaning my own home. I might have had some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, speaking of demons, someone's put this couch in all a mess. Would you come out and straighten these pillows here? Arrange the pillows. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Damn, that glass is huge. That's like big gulp size. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Yeah, I'll try to get by. No. No, it was stupid, sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needed cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? What the hell are you doing now? Scrub the tub. No need to be perfect, we're all just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If you so, could you please put them back on the shelf? Much better. Perfect. And now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Are all houses this easy to clean? Darling, let me tell you something. In your lifetime, you are going to clean a lot of houses. And among all of those, a few of them will stick out as truly wonderful, beautiful experiences. And none of them will be the ones that were easy. It's just something to think about while you smooth out the rug
I
in the
know that Truda
bedroom.
really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Looks like the tub has gotten rather dirty. Would you mind tidying it up a bit? Earlier, when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was gonna say that it occurs to me that this one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. I don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. But there's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway. So, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Oh goodness, those pillows over on the couch are a real
I'm glad
mess.
he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Would you go over and straighten them up a bit? Can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch. Question. Do you
of course,
enjoy this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
You never got to answer them. Also, that house has a couple drafts now. Might want to get those fixed up.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009. Items you love at
This
members-only
one gets a bit
prices.
goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy. It is
About halfway
so
through the game,
easy.
the perspective shifts.
Being perfect is effortless.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Kids should not follow their dreams. I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. Those are words of wisdom. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? Oh, hell yeah. Holy shit, you guys, something's coming out of the back of the room. Look out! It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Where do I sign up?
Pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
It's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
January of 2010.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Well, no ladders for us. I will walk on stage. Hey, everybody! Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please! In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room, in this chair, is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where's the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting, you're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. No! That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will present the people nearby. Now, talk to her again. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? You're messing it all up again! You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Okay, do you want me to keep stepping back? I'll just keep going this way then. Oh yes, now this is working.
Ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success. The answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June of 2010. Mobius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Alright. What's going on? I can't die like this. Something enormous just appeared on the radar. I can't see anything! And then my vision suddenly went black. There was a giant door, and then my vision went black. Please don't let this be forever. I am blind! No, I have no idea where we are. Am I going to be killed by a giant door? Maybe we... What's going on? What's going on?
You
Hell!
should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
My
And there
bit-
is a solution, by the way.
Please tell me how to solve this. There's a giant door, and then my vision went black. We're okay so far if I can activate shields. Can't you do something? Can't you fix this? The only way to start it is to speak something that is on. What's going on? Help! I can't see anything! Help! I'm blind! The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I am bursting with creative energy. No, that isn't truthful. Oh god, he's right. I'm a fraud! I'll never create anything in my entire life! What's going on? I'm blind! The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
Hey, Fizz.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I'm out of ideas. Keep going. Keep talking. I thought it was going to be easy. You're doing it! It's working! I'm alone. We're going to be okay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December of 2010. What is this? Hello? Is anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me, to start it again. Wait, you're looking for a machine. I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it, to know why it stopped. I can take
If
you
the
to it.
last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I can take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult puzzle. If you can help me solve the puzzle, we'll find the machine. Deal? It doesn't matter what I say, does it? We're going to end up there one way or another, right? Deal. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Here's the puzzle. What do you think? I've solved this puzzle before. Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me how to do it? First, you have to open the door. Okay, now what? Now you have to close the first door. Alright, what's next? Now just press the switch here. That was so simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
That was so simple. I can't believe I never solved it before this. Okay, here we are. When I try to create, I feel empty. What is this? Deal. I'm trying to find the engine that used to protect me. To start it again. I've solved this puzzle before. I need to see it, to know why it stopped. Hello? Is anyone there? Here we are. There's no machine here. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is fun, simple and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time. Alright. Making games is effortless. Ah, that feels wonderful. Why did I feel so awful when I said that? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. I get it. That's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. You have to open the door. There's no machine here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. Close the first door. Don't worry about me. A place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. Yes, there was these floating colored blocks. Hey, it's me! I'm you from after you escaped the prison. Press the switch here. Just never stop creating and you'll never feel bad. Perfect. That feels
This is someone I really
fantastic.
cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
I'm going to vomit. Patience, you have to trust me. I promise this'll work. Please, continue. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time. Yes, more.
I don't
Keep
know.
going.
This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
I will be saved by my work. Incredible. That's it. I'm free. I'm free.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May of 2011. The Machine. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be brutal. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Will we get to see the machine? Can you give us answers? Ask a few questions for the paper. How did you capture the machine? How will it be punished? Where is the machine now? What can you tell us? What are your next actions?
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. Your work was keeping us healthy. It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. You have to admit to the people that you've allowed them to suffer. Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. All right, then. I will speak to them for you. My followers. I have a troubling revelation. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us pay it retribution. Follow me. We will destroy the machine.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Coda,
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
June of 2011. The Tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah, for the sake of everybody's eyes and ears, I'm not going to keep doing that. We're just gonna cross over with our orange block.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
No need. I've already guessed it with my superior intellect. Nice. Alright. One... Oops. Five, one... 6... 1... 7. And I missed it.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davy, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
I wonder
I
at
don't think I ever
times.
told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I wonder at times whether you think I'm making these games for you.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere, hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Would you simply let them be what they are? When I am around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something, and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks, and that you make peace with this thing that you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Epilogue.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Well, this is my stop.
Turn back. Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
And that was the beginner's guide. So, I should make some things very clear. Davy Reardon does not actually know anybody in Coda. And no, Davy did not, in fact, actually release a bunch of this person's map on Steam for like $10 or whatever. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this this little narrative game. I really admire Davy's performance throughout of all of this. Really good. I like this game. I'm glad. It's really neat. It kind of it. I don't think it ever really got like as much attention as the Stanley Parable. And this was released after the original commercial release of the Stanley Parable. Um, but it's just a really nice. I guess you could derisively call it a walking simulator, which I mean kind of is, but it's neat. A good game already. Yeah, I like to play one of those every now and then. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to Beginner's Guide. Yeah, I just think it's a real neat game, and I don't know that anybody's really gonna go back and play it. But if you want to poke around and see some more of it, feel free. Oh, there's a soundtrack, and there's a soundtrack you can buy for this game as well. That's cool. Narrative games aren't bad for being narrative. Yeah, no, absolutely. I just know that like this kind of game sometimes got called a walking simulator. When games like this and like Dear Esther, well, more earlier with Dear Esther, when they got released, and people were like, "Oh, you can't even shoot anything in this game. What's the point?" Gone Home was the one I ever played, and it's still one of my favorite games. Gone Home is really good. It's that's really something. Hope we are over that. Me too. There are so many good narrative games now. Yeah, I think that we have only benefited from people taking being like, what is a video game, and doing stuff interesting stuff with it. So I am more than happy to see these kind of games out there. The games in the genre where the walking simulator tag with pride. Yeah, I hope so too. Remember the time there was kind of a preloaded counter narrative at the time. I think people were intentionally stirring each other up, probably. That's kind of the thing with these controversies. It's all dumb shit. But enjoy the games that you like is really my thing. But also respect other people's choices in what games they like. Internet peoples. Oh, those are the worst peoples of all time, these internet peoples. How I hate them. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. This is going to be a bit of a shorter stream, just because, the only, it was just a very short little experience, but I wanted something a little on the shorter side today. and something that isn't like super high action, because if we go to our schedule, basically everything else is pretty decently high action. So on Friday, so tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be playing some more Armored Core 6, making our way through New Game Plus. I don't remember exactly where we left off. Oh, we literally just encountered the Ice Worm for the first time. So now we gotta figure out how to defeat the Ice Worm. That should be exciting stuff. Get to see that cool-ass firing sequence again. On Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time / 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing some more Outward with Nash. Basically just kind of surviving. Now that we're kind of back on our feet, I think we're maybe ready to head out and see some stuff. Maybe start buying some skills. Would you still mech battle me if I were a worm? If you were an ice worm, absolutely. That thing's terrifying. Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time / 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing some more Bloodborne. We're making our way through, I was going to say Bergenworth, but that's not right. I don't remember the name of the place, but it's fucked up, and there's like a million things on the walls, and I hate it. But I'm sure with some patience, we will persevere and make our way through that area. Blarkey the Evil Town. Yeah, that's its name. That's exactly its name. If not actual, then at least in spirit. And then Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time / 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing some Paper Mario. Basically, we just have the final boss to defeat. And I did break down, and I'm like, okay, I need to know, how the hell do you defeat Bowser? And it turns out that he's only allowed to heal 3 times. So, like, you will eventually wear him down. It's not like this, oh, you can't, you literally can't out DPS him. He will run out of heals. So, we will try that, finish Paper Mario, and then see what else I've got on the Wii. There's a couple more things we could give a look at, and we'll decide that probably next week. So, thank you all so much for tuning in, and let's go ahead and see what we can raid into. Epic long JRPG battles. Oh god. I kind of want to play Lost Odyssey on stream, which definitely means that's going to be like a super long stream, but hopefully it goes well. Let's see, who should raid? Knight. Alright, let's go ahead and raid over to Errol then, a fellow Magpie VTuber who is playing some Resident Evil 5. Oh, is he actually just ending? He's just ending. Just kidding. Let's go ahead and rate somebody who's not about to end. Let us go ahead and... we haven't actually rated Faceaw in a million years. Let's go ahead and rate Faceaw. She's playing some Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is a lovely chill time. So let's go ahead. So, if you need the raid message, there it is. Go ahead and grab that, or use whatever. Just make sure to show your support to our raid target. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time / 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Armored Core 6. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.